Have you ever noticed in the story of One Piece, Oda loves to focus and put so much emphasis on gods? There's a human with a Goro Goro no Mi posing as a god. There's a group of tyrannical inbreeding individuals who call themselves gods. And one of the closest friends to the main protagonist, Monkey D. Luffy, goes by the name of God D. Usopp. No, but really, he's probably the real god. But this was built up a really long time ago, back during an arc where all the fake One Piece fans skip. In Nolan's flashback, the phrase God of the Sun was name dropped, but it was also accompanied by God of the Rain, God of the Forest, and God of the Earth. But today I'm here to blow your mind and tell you exactly who's who. No, not that guy. These gods in One Piece will surely surprise you, but their future role in the story is going to change how you see One Piece forever. So during the Skypiea arc, in Nolan's flashback, we did see that a young woman was being used as a sacrifice for the sun god. Now back then, as an early reader, early watcher, you don't think too much of it. You think, oh, a god of the sun, maybe that's just the lore to Shandians and the lore of Skypiea. But come to find out, later on in the story, chapter 1018, we get name dropped of a legendary warrior that would free people by the name of Sun God Nika. So clearly Oda put this in place, he put this in Skypiea to readdress it later on in the story. And it goes even deeper than that because we do see that Sun God Nika is basically Sun God Luffy. They are one and the same, whether it's a title or some type of inheritance, they are still the same figure. So what I'm going to prove today is that those other three gods are other characters that we know in the story. So the first one we're going to address is the God of the Rain, Monkey D. Dragon. Now I feel like this one's a little bit more straightforward, a little bit more obvious than the others, because we do know leading up to the Logtown arc, Nami was saying that there was going to be a big storm, and we do know that it ended up raining, and Luffy was saved by thunder, Dragon used his wind powers, etc. I feel like all these events coincide with the same kind of subject, being Monkey D. Dragon. A lot of people may theorize, oh, Monkey D. Dragon has a wind devil fruit, but I think we're underplaying him here. Like, we do know he's the world's worst criminal, the world's most heinous criminal, but it has to go deeper than just leading the Revolutionary Army. I totally get it. Yeah, he leads the army. They are publicly trying to take down the world government. I get that. But it has to go deeper than that. And with him having only a wind-related devil fruit, we would need to explain the lightning that came down and saved Luffy, the raining, the whole storm, and all that. It would be much more simpler if he had the Hito Hito no Mi, modeled rain god. Now, there would be some type of name that Oda would create for that fruit, as like Nika is like a custom name for a god in One Piece. So I'm expecting Oda to have some kind of name for God of the Rain. With that being said, characters have said that the D will surely brew up a storm, and I do find it ironic because if he's God of the Rain and he's a Monkey D family member, like, this is this Oda being like 200 IQ on us. The next god we're gonna address is the God of the Forest, Admiral Greenbull. Now this one is a little bit trickier to work with because the information we have on him is so limited, but who cares? We're theorists, we're trying to have fun. So as far as Greenbull goes, we do have something to go off of. We have a stem to go off of, no pun intended, where when he was talking to Fujitora, he was like, yeah, man, I haven't eaten in 2 to 3 years, but if it's a beautiful woman, I'm eating. Clearly, this is like him being on some Sanji type shit. Like, this is a simp right here. He might even be related to Kinemon in the Wano country, but that's a tinfoil thing we'll save for another time. But we need to address that specific word choice of I haven't eaten in 2 to 3 years. Now, I find this really interesting because of all things Oda could have given us for Greenbull, he gives us that. I feel like this is a really small clue to Greenbull as a character, and I feel like the reason he hasn't eaten for those years is because him having a Forest God Devil Fruit means he gets food and energy through photosynthesis. Now, with that being said, when you eat a Devil Fruit, we do know that your lineage factor is altered, your DNA is altered, and this would mean that he could get energy and get some type of food source from the sun and from sunlight. So him having the Forest God lines up with that. Another concept I want to roll with is the original 3 admirals were specifically made as Logia types. Now, this was calculated by Oda. It was a cool plot device, but we do know during Fishman Island, Jinbei said something along the lines of Aki Inu made the Marines stronger than they've ever been since it's under his administration. Now, I think coming from Aki Inu's standpoint, he's like, okay, we had Kizaru, Aokiji, Aki Inu. These are 3 Logia types. We got to switch it up. So what he decided to do was keep Kizaru, that Logia, get Fujitora, a Paramecia, and then get Greenbull, a Zoan. So if you had the Hito Hito no Mi model Forest God, that makes him a Zoan. I do think that's a route that Oda would take, considering the first 3 were Logia and it was a plot device. Now, with him being the Forest God, I do expect him to be able to like spawn a tree, maybe crush people, strangle people with grass, maybe spawn piranha plants, Venus flytraps. So he would have some kind of powers relating to a forest and some kind of like plant device or plant style devil fruit. So another concept I want to touch on is actually the epithets of the admirals. So as an example, we have Aka Inu, which is red dog, and then we have Aokiji, which is blue pheasant. Now, what Oda's doing here is he's getting a color color followed by an animal. So the color relates to their devil fruit, and then the animal relates to their kind of personality traits. So with Aki Inu, he's red dog, red correlating with his magma devil fruit, and then dog relating to his personality trait as a marine and working for the world government. With that being said, for Greenbull, it would make sense if he was a forest god, he had like this kind of plant-esque devil fruit, where green relates to that plant side of him, and the bull relates to his kind of personality trait. Now with that being said, I definitely think that when it comes to a forest god, Mr. Greenbull takes the cake. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to like the subscribe button and comment on the notification bell, because I'm really trying to hit 15,000 subs. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Now on for the final god, the earth god, which would be Imu-sama. Now obviously there's very little information to go off of when it comes to Imu, but let's address what we do have. So Imu was seen in a chamber, a secret chamber in Marijois, but yet this chamber had beautiful plants, flowers, butterflies. Like, explain that to me. If Imu had some kind of earth related devil fruit, it could be like a higher form of the forest god, because you know, forest would have to play into the whole earth thing. So this would explain why Imu does have a garden inside and why it's so beautiful and majestic, because they are the earth god. Now another concept is, what if Imu, being the earth god, was able to have him create the red line? Because we do know that the red line serves the world government, it divides the ocean, it divides the world, which makes it easier for the Marines and the world government to do their dirty work. So to me, that makes a lot of sense. We know their goals, we know their personality, they want to divide people and conquer the planet. With Imu being the head of the Godosei, the head of the world government, him being the earth god makes too much sense. With that being said, let's actually explain how all these gods tie into each other. So with God of the Sun, that's a pirate. God of the Rain, that's a Revolutionary Army member. God of the Forest, that's a Marine. God of the Earth, that's a Celestial Dragon, a world government member. So these are like 4 different factions of the world, 4 different gods that play into the whole concept of the story, the whole world itself. Now it could go deeper than that, because you'll have the God of the Sun with the God of the Rain fighting against the God of the Earth and the God of the Forest. This is a 2v2 situation, seeing how it's pirate revolutionary versus marine world government. That's really interesting to me, and to see these 4 gods have their different roles, I think that makes a lot of sense. You can also argue that the God of the Forest is some sort of subset to God of the Earth. Like, without Imu being a world government member with the God of the Earth fruit, you wouldn't have a marine Greenbull with the God of the Forest. You need the God of the Earth in the first place. Another thing I want to address is these baby mermaids that we saw at Fishman Island. So it turns out that there's these little guys, they go by Ichika, Nika, Sonka, Yonka, and Yonka too. Now it's really interesting because Nika, the second one, is literally the sun god Nika. Now you could say, okay, well, yeah, Oda decided to go with Nika, took that mermaid name, applied it to the sun god, but he doesn't have to use the other names. And to that, I say, yeah, you're probably right. But you know, just to play into it, it would be kind of interesting to have Ichiga be like, I don't know, Earth, Nika be sun, Sanka be forest, and Yonka be rain. Now I do understand that Ichi in Japanese means 1, Ni in Japanese means 2, San means 3, I get that. But with there being a Yonka 2, instead of like a Goka, because Go means 5 in Japanese, he went with Yonka 2, which leads me to believe he had some kind of plan for it. And what further backs that up is, like how we just said, Nika was being used for a sun god. So maybe we'll see that these other names for the mermaids are used for the gods of One Piece. So it's very evident that Skypiea and the Nolan flashback do play a big role in the story, and come the very end of it, we're gonna figure out that there is a God of the Rain, God of the Forest, and God of the Earth. And it all started because of Sun God Luffy. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below if you think these gods will be used, and if they are, who will take place of these gods. Got a video to my side, banger theory. Love you guys. Peace.